Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. I'm Matt Atchdy. That's Ben Mankiewicz. I almost said Ben Mendelsohn.
All right,
He's everywhere.
Yeah.
Director.
Alonzo Duralde
whatever.
and Christy Lemire.
He's one of the 5 actors.
We are talking about Toni Erdmann.
Erdmann.
And who's going to describe this?
Ben is.
I'll give.
Ben has seen it.
Ben Mendelsohn will.
This is directed by a woman whose name, or I don't even know, is it a woman?
Marin
Yes, woman.
Ade.
Marin Ade.
Right, whose name should be Marinade. I mean, you pointed that's fantastic. But anyway, this is the story of a father and daughter, but really it's the story, you think it's the story of the father, but it's the story of the daughter. The father is Toni Erdmann.
But that's not his real name. I'm sorry.
Come on!
I'm sorry.
It's okay. A father in Germany, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and his daughter, his grown daughter, he's divorced. He's a quirky music teacher and seems beloved by students, except he probably isn't as beloved by students as he'd like to believe. He is a practical joker.
He's wacky.
He's wacky, he's different, he's unique. He's not like wacky, like put on a... Well, he is like wacky, put on a funny hat.
Yeah, put on a wig.
He's exactly that.
He's constantly putting in play teeth. But he is a lonely man, and he has an old dog which he loves. And circumstances come in his life where he goes to check on his daughter in Bucharest because he is worried about her. He thinks she is lonely and not living the joyful life that he thinks everyone should live. And the bulk of the movie is about their relationship in Bucharest and about them really getting to know each other, even though she appears to be, well into her 30s and is troubled to some extent by her quirky and at times incredibly annoying father. Toni Erdmann.
Hallo Papa.
Hallo, wie geht's?
Ja, sehr gut eigentlich. Sie telefoniert nur. Ich bin gleich fertig.
Ich habe jetzt jemand engagiert als Ersatztochter.
Naja, das ist ja gut. Dann ruft sie dich auch zum Geburtstag an und so. Dann mache ich mir da keinen Stress mehr.
Das ist schon Wahnsinn, mit welchen Schwergewichten sie da im Ring steht.
Sie sind zu Besuch? Ja, spontane Entscheidung. Ich habe mir einen Monat freigenommen. Das war jetzt aber echte Angst.
I'm not going to give a score.
No, but I think you should.
No, because here's the thing. It's award season. We get a lot of these movies on screeners. I watched it on screener at home by myself, and I found it deadly. It didn't work for me at all. But a lot of people I trust love this movie, and a lot of the reviews that I've read that love this movie specifically mention the experience of watching it with an audience. Okay. So I'm going to give this movie one more shot. I don't usually see a lot of movies twice, but I'm going to see this again, even though it's almost 3 hours long, with an audience in a theater, and I'll report back. But I got to say, my first viewing, I was not amused. I didn't get it.
So a movie you didn't like or couldn't get into, and it's $2.40.
Oh, look,
and you're going to go see it in the theater.
Because ever since Cannes, everybody's been raving about this movie and how funny it is and how meaningful it is and the relationship between the father and the daughter, and I didn't buy it at all.
Yeah,
and so I'm thinking that's got to be my fault.
Well, there's something to, I've been busy with other things, but I haven't seen nearly as many movies as you guys have, but we get inundated with the screeners, and sometimes you watch, what's the most you've watched in a day? I mean, a typical day could be, certainly a typical day could be 3 or 4.
When you're cramming them during awards season.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So,
5, yeah.
And that has an effect on, it's hard, at least, if you're not careful, you can be like, I've been sitting in this chair for a long time.
Right.
This is super dull. Come on, something happened. It's not that movie's fault that nobody takes out a gun and guns people down in that movie. It's right.
Timing.
So
Right, movies aren't intended to be binge watched 5 at a time.
right, that's right.
No, I mean, but that's important,
That
right?
is important.
And it's one of the things, the challenge for us as critics is to remember to try and put ourselves in the mindset of somebody who's to watch that movie as it was intended, where it's likely the only thing you've seen that day on a big screen.
But
you have to work to put yourself in that headspace. So
but to
I
be
think
fair,
you're to be commended.
Yeah,
totally.
Oh, well,
For your
thanks.
wherewithal.
I mean,
Unlike Ben.
I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on screener this time of year, and a lot of it I still liked. I mean, 20th Century Women totally worked for me,
No, it's just you're recognizing that you might have missed something.
But
so
yeah,
you should
this
get
one in
some God
particular,
bless.
if so many reviews hadn't talked about the cascades of laughter in the audience, or
The roller rolling over the audience.
Like a
rolls
wave.
back,
It was a
waves
big-
of laughter.
it was
So it's
a-
like, all right, I got it. Clearly, this is a movie that cannot be
You
fully
mentioned
appreciated.
Cannes. I was at Telluride, and there was a tremendous amount of, you got to go see Toni Erdmann. It's fantastic.
Was it
And
playing there as well?
It was, no, it wasn't there. They just,
That
was what we're about. You gotta go to Toronto.
in the airport.
Get on a plane.
That's the whole thing. About,
so worth
that's
it.
the whole thing about Telluride is you're talking about great movies that other
I wasn't even there during the festival.
That's how good they are.
I was skiing. Yeah.
We are so punchy today.
Yes.
But I also watched Toni Erdmann on
a long
screener
year.
by myself on the couch. I did.
So I
And it
thought
worked
both,
for you.
I mean, I laughed at where I can imagine there were gigantic tidal waves of laughter, but
It's
I
not
wasn't
like a
overwhelmed by
busted
it.
gut laugher. It's
But I
just,
guess it is though in a communal experience.
well, maybe it is.
It's German,
I liked
after
it. I liked it a lot anyway. You know,
the
look,
Germans get you together.
2 hours
They force
and-
you to laugh.
2 hours and 40 minutes is a you know, you got to really believe in your movie. Obviously, I imagine most directors do, but it's long and it is, you know, totally devoid of action. It's just one scene after another of this, mostly of first the father and then the daughter. Even when she enters the picture, like 30 minutes into it, you know, or 20 minutes into it, probably not 30. It doesn't even seem like you're surprised when you realize, wait a minute, this is about her.
Right.
That she's the
Yeah, you think she's going to be sort of another
Right.
passing sporting character like his mother or whatever.
right to learn about his you know, peculiar way that he has decided to go through life. Although in the end, it turns out it's not that peculiar. He's a man, he's lonely, he does some weird things, and he wants to find a connection. And the connection he is determined to find, both because he wants to find it and because he thinks she needs it, is with his daughter. And I don't know, I found it, it grew on me. I found it very sweet. I was very taken with both performances in the end.
You know, it does grow on you, and it looks like a really simple kind of gimmicky comedy at first, right? That he's putting on these disguises to insinuate himself in
He's
his
pranking
daughter's
her.
life, right? And the fact that everyone around her loves this guy, and he passes himself off as like this life coach guru, and everyone just buys it. And so through their eyes, she sees her father anew. It sounds like a totally gimmicky, cheesy premise that we've seen before, but there's subtlety to it, surprisingly, as you go along. Peter Simonacek, who plays the actor who is playing Toni Erdmann, is at first super annoying. Yeah, like you don't like him, and then just the subtlety of him kind of grows on you, and there's a surprisingly emotional moment that sneaks up on you, and then there are just absurd moments of comedy. Like, I'm not gonna say what song they sing. There's a song, there's a brunch,
But,
and
yeah.
things don't go in directions that you might
The
expect, and they sneak up
the
on you.
brunch is where it super lost me. I was like,
Okay.
because the way that this female, the daughter, has been presented up until this point in the movie as being such a tight ass and so kind of, you know, doctrinaire and by the book and everything, to then do this wild 180, and I was just like.
But it is toward the end. He's worked his
is,
magic
but I didn't.
on her,
for me, the
right?
movie didn't earn that
Okay.
spin. But obviously, for other
That-
people, it did.
No,
so
I,
you know.
I get it. That one moment of her, like I did not see it coming, but it didn't make a great deal of sense. But then I decided, okay, partially because the actress who's Sandra Hüller,
She's so good.
she handles it so well, even though the movie maybe didn't earn the decision that she makes. Once she made the decision, you got that, oh, well, that's this character making this decision. Like she behaved as this character. She didn't make the decision and then continue to be nuts. She was like, I'm going to do something very surprising, and then I'm going to be totally
gonna handle
myself.
it in the
I'm gonna
way-
handle it
yeah.
the way I handle it.
Okay,
So
fair enough, fair enough.
That earned it back, I suppose, a little bit.
It's a very contained performance, which and she's unlikable for the vast majority of the movie. She's cold and she's walled off and very contained, and yet she finds
Right,
some subtlety to it. And
Because you turn on that, you're like, where's your father? The father's kind of unlikable. Then the more you learn about him, you're like, oh, he's okay. And you want to tell her, like, oh, man, give him a break. Like, he's
they
trying.
meet in the middle.
Yeah.
You think you know, they meet in the middle. So
This is definitely the kind of movie that Americans would have done totally wrong.
oh my, and they probably will. Someone's gonna remake this. And it's gonna suck. It's gonna have like Rob Schneider in it or somebody like that.
Big
It's gonna be
swelling
awful.
orchestra of, you
Right.
know.
But you know
Don't do
the
it,
fact
America.
that since it's that maybe that 2 hours and 40 minutes is necessary to earn what they to get to where they need
The
to
payoffs,
go.
yeah.
Like that, if this had been an hour 150, it would have felt rushed, even though nothing in the movie feels in any way rushed.
It does
No.
take its time. All right. So then, what is your number then?
I do not recall 8.5.
Okay,
I
I'm
see
saying
it.
7.8. So we're at 8.2, and it's very high in the
92% certified fresh.
And when, and then obviously, if you aren't lying again, when we should, you should share with us how
Sure.
well it worked.
Yes, we can
Even-
talk about it
even-
here. I'll talk about it on my podcast, whatever. But yeah, I will. I'm going to see this movie and give it a shot because here's the other thing. It's the kind of movie that when people describe it to you, you want to see that movie. I want to see the movie that people who love this movie saw that I clearly did not.
It's not going to be easy to find a big audience for Toni Erdmann.
Oh, I think,
You think here in LA?
It's
LA.
opening on one screen here, so I'm sure
Oh,
it'll
it
be
hasn't
packed.
opened yet, of course.
But I wonder if you will now be able to see that movie knowing that you have seen a version of that movie. Will you be able to be surprised, or will you know what's coming?
I will try. I mean, look, I'm not.
right.
If I didn't think I wouldn't, if I didn't think that I might like it, I wouldn't subject myself
I
to it
appreciate
again.
it.
So
It is time consuming. All
yeah.
right. So if you guys see it, let us know. Bye-bye.